Top of the morning to you. We're heading to Dublin for this Wunderbar IPA, part of the Beer52 November Awards 2020 box. But what does it taste like? Let's check out the review to find out. Welcome back to Rocker's Beer Review. Today we're going to be reviewing this one. This is from Rascals. It's called Wunderbar IPA. It's coming at 6%. It says it's punchy, it's fruity. They are part of the Beer52 Awards box for this month, for November. And the reason why they are in there is because they have won the award for the best tap room experience. So, I mean, that sounds great. I mean, it'd be great if these tap rooms were open now. We're in November. We're in sort of a second shutdown, you know, Lockdown 2, the sequel. But this is a Wunderbar IPA. I've heard quite good things from Rascals. I've never had a Rascals beer in my life. In fact, I haven't actually had I don't think I've had many Irish craft beers either. So it's in a nice green can, very sort of Irish. Doesn't say much in terms of what it is, just says water, barley, hops and yeast. It does say it's made with German hops though, so I'm not sure what type of hops they are, but I expect it's going to be different than your sort of standard IPA. So let's get this beer out of the can and into a glass, shall we? So we're about halfway through now. Certainly the one that we had from the Garden Brewery is sort of leading the lights, as it were, so far. Let's see if this can be as good. So yeah, I mean, beer in a glass. It's got a slight haze on it. Again, looking a bit. It's for me, it's very yellow and very sort of. I mean, if I put my hands like that, I can see my fingers through that. You probably can't see that from the video. I don't think you can see my face through it. It's got a slight haze to it, but for an IPA, it's a lot lighter and clearer than most. We've got a 2-finger fluffy white head. Let's get some aroma, shall we? It's not really. Nothing's really jumping out in terms of aromas. Let's give it a quick stir, see if we can get anything from that. I'm getting a sort of subtleness of zesty sort of lemons and maybe a bit of lime in there, but I'm not getting anything else from that. It's quite different than normal sort of aromas that I would expect from a 6% IPA. So let's see what it tastes like, shall we? Cheers, everyone. Yeah, it's quite unusual. It's got quite a soft mouthfeel, and it's fairly low levels of carbonation. But it almost tastes like a very sort of traditional English IPA. It's soft, it's smooth, it's refreshing, but it doesn't really taste of anything. I'm not getting. It's certainly. I like it because it's a bit different, and I want to sort of say it's like a lager, but it's not, because the body's so different. The carbonation is low, as you would expect from a sort of, you know, a traditional sort of new age craft IPA. But I'm not really. I'm getting a subtleness of bitterness. It's quite a bit malty on the sort of malty sort of backbone, but I'm not really getting anything in terms of fruit. The bitterness is a little bit more sort of coming through, a little bit more stronger now. I'm not getting any sort of. Definitely, there's no tropical. There's no pineapples in there. Maybe a bit of grapefruit, gooseberry, melon, maybe. But I'm struggling. It tastes a bit like, it's got that sort of taste of a lager, but it's got the body of an IPA. So it's a very sort of, you know, I suppose you would call it a hybrid, really. Yeah, I mean, it's a very traditional IPA. It's more in the range of, you know, when you think things like the Trooper IPA, the Iron Maiden beer from Robinson's Brewery. It's got that sort of. It's similar to that, but it's a little bit more smoother. There is bitterness on the back end, but it's not overpowering, really. And the bitterness is very sort of a malty bitterness, opposed to a sort of grapefruit sort of bitterness. It's quite pleasant. It's just the flavours, and not lacking. It feels really nice when you put it in your mouth. It feels really nice. Got a nice soft mouthfeel to it, and the carbonation is fairly low. And then you get that little bitingness of bitterness on the back end, but there's not much else. There's no fresh zestiness. There's no lemons, limes, which I suppose is as close as I could probably think it should be like. I'm not really getting that, but I mean, I'm drinking it down pretty quickly. I think it's, for a 6% IPA, it's very easily drinkable. It hides that 6% quite well. Yeah, I mean, it's nice. It's different. It's not what I would call a traditional, or it's not like a lot of the IPAs that we have on this channel. But as they say, change is as good as a holiday, and I've quite enjoyed it. Really, it's like a softer, smoother lager. That's what it's like. Let's get some scores though, shall we? Okay, the scores are in for Wunderbar, this IPA from the Rascals Breweries. Get the can straight for you so you can see it. Yeah, Wunderbar IPA from Rascals, based in Dublin. It's a 6% IPA, but it's very much a traditional IPA. It's not what I would call a sort of, I don't know, new age IPA. I don't think you can call that, but it's not got those tropical, fruity sort of flavours. It's more like a very traditional golden ale or an English IPA. So aroma, I mean, there was not much to it aroma wise. Nothing bad, but it didn't have, there was just a subtleness of sort of citrus, but you could probably get that subtleness in terms of any sort of lager of that sort of citrus. So they were quite lacking. In terms of appearance, though, I think it's pretty. I've drunk it down pretty quickly. It's a nice golden yellow. It's got a slight haze, but it's a lot less hazy than most IPAs. It's definitely not clear like a lager is, but it's got a very sort of very soft haze to it, really. But it looked pretty good. It's kept its head pretty well, and I think it looked pretty good. So I'm giving it a 9 out of 10 for appearance. Need to boost this beer up because there's nothing wrong with this beer at all. It's just different, but the aromas are not there. And in terms of flavours, I mean, it goes down really quickly, and it just tastes like a very, like I said, a golden ale. It's like it has that sort of the taste characteristics of a good lager. It's got quite a malty sort of backbone to it. There's a slight bitterness on the back end, but it's got a really, really soft, a nice mouthfeel. It's not overly gassy, fizzy, not highly carbonated like a lot of lagers and pilsners are. And so that was pretty good. But there was no fruitiness come through. There was nothing tropical in there. There wasn't any citrus. Even the bitterness was more of a malty bitterness than a sort of grapefruit bitterness. So flavours were a little lacking. So I'm giving it 30. Definitely nothing horrible about it. It wasn't overly bitter. It didn't have any strange flavours in it. It just was a bit lacking in what I expected. But if you like a traditional IPA, there's a lot of people out there that go, yeah, I'm not into the craft beer, but I'll go into the pub and I'll order an IPA, and it will be like a less gassier lager, but it will still be quite light and clear. This is what this is like. So 30 for flavour. Value for money, it's another 7 out of 10. It's a £3 can. It's not great flavour. 6%, it's okay, but it's still 7 out of 10. I'm definitely not gonna rate it any higher, but then I'm not gonna rate it lower either. It certainly tastes all right. Tastes good. I mean, I think if I had a pint of it, I'd be thinking this is quite a good beer. But in a small can, there's just not enough to it. There's no flavours in it. And then my overall experience, well, I mean, I've nearly drank this. It's really easy to drink. It has it's a sort of beer that, a lot of, I'm going to get in trouble for this, but, a lot of the sort of more older generation, that thinks, I can't drink, they don't really like bitter, but they don't really like the overly gassiness of drinking, your Fosters and your Carlings and your Peronis, your Stellas and stuff like that you get in a pub. This is the sort of beer that they drink. They still want that sort of lightness and that sort of refreshingness of a lager, but they also want the sort of the feel of a, you know, that soft mouth feel without the over carbonation that you get with, you know, more traditional ales and bitters. And this hits the mark in terms of that. It's pretty good, so I'm giving it a 15 for my overall experience, because I've drank it down. It's easy to drink, and you know, it tastes nice. It's just I'm just expecting a little bit more. But in terms of how I drink it again, yeah, of course, good. I could drink a good few of these as well. 6% hides, it's hidden well, that 6%. So 15, and we top those scores up. And even though we had a few lower bits at the front there, you know, with the AROMA being quite low, it's still a pretty solid 70. So it's a recommended beer. I mean, I'm interested to know what people who are on, because I know there's a few people that comment and watch these videos from Beer52, what you thought of it. I mean, it's a nice beer, but it's just lacking for me. It's just a bit, I don't know whether I'm just used to some fruitiness, so I've almost forgotten what this sort of beer tastes like. Certainly nice, sessionable. It's a good beer, you know, and it's a 70. It's a low white snake, so I'm going to slide the rest of this, not much left of it, slide it in slow and easy. Until the next one, keep on rocking.